Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for August 27th. Taking a look here at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair. I'm expecting this currency pair to be move within a range between 110.17 and on the lower side 108.41. As far as support and resistance goes, looking for some resistance pretty much at the 110 area and support at the 109 area. Now, if you recall from yesterday, we had I had a trade that I was looking for a break of this low, pretty much going in at 108.97, and looking for about 50 pips to drop down at 108.47. Now, it didn't make it down all that way. It actually didn't make it too far into the trade. Maybe about halfway. But let's take a quick look at what happened today in this particular trade. This was we had the break here. The market moved down, and we had our line about here at the 108.97 point. So we sold. Now, if you're able to look at a lower time frame when you're actually trading, when you have a trade on, especially in the day time frame, and you know that some news announcements are coming out. This is a great example of the durable goods orders came out, and the news was much better than expected, and so this particular pair zipped up. Now, when you're looking at this, if you're in this trade and you come down here and a new pivot low is created by having a higher bar and then a higher low and then a higher low, that could be some indication that either the market's going to move sideways as it did here, or that it's possibly a reversal. So at that point, you may want to ask yourself, well, I just got into a trade a couple hours back. I'm up but not by much, and a new pivot low's been created, and we basically have two pivot lows that have been created at the close of this bar, and then we have a U.S. news announcement coming out that could potentially, if it's unexpected news, move the market. So the prudent thing to do here, if you have, say, a 1-to-1 stop loss, so we're looking to get 50 pips, gain 50 pips, and we're risking 50 pips, if that's the case here, at that point you may want to bring that down to, say, 25 pips, or possibly even move your stop to break even. That way, if the market does, if the news goes against you as it did today, then you're out of the market at break even, or at least with a little bit less of a loss than had you left your initial stop loss there in the market and not really worried about how the fundamentals could affect your trade. Now, looking at, if this would have, if the news would have been for us, at that point, it probably would have gone down and bounced off that support level that we talked about. So that's just a little quick lesson in news announcements and technical trading versus fundamentals, and how you should pay attention to both and definitely use both. There's two camps, technical and fundamental, and I've never understood why. It's all information that you need to use. It's just one more thing. If you don't use it, then you don't have that tool, and you can lose pips, as you see in this example. Now, switching back to the hour or the day chart, let's take a look at the Euro USD. Let me zoom in here a little bit more. Okay, we have this pair. I'm looking for the range to be between 148.09 and on the lower side 145.92. We closed up today. The market's pretty much moving sideways. The bias is to the downside, though, so look for a breakout to occur to the downside at some point. I'm pretty much looking at resistance and support at these same levels. Switching over to the pound, this particular pair closed down. The bias is to the downside. It's moving down. I'm looking for this next session's range to be between 185.23 and 182.36. and pretty much looking for resistance and support at these levels. I do anticipate this pair moving lower, by the way, over the next couple of sessions. The Swiss is pretty much just moving sideways. It closed down today. It did move lower and then pull back. The bias is to sideways, and it's moving sideways at this point. I am looking for this next session's range to be between 1.1059 and on the lower side 1.0886. As far as support and resistance, look for some resistance just a little bit below this at 1.1050, and some support to come into the market at around 1.0900. Now looking over at another pair we had, I believe it was, here it is, the Australian US dollar pulled back today, created an inside bar, if you notice. So you may want to take a look at this. I haven't gone into I haven't looked back in history to see what kind of ranges or support and resistance we have if we get a break of this, but it's definitely something you may want to back out, look at the weekly time frame, and then look at the daily time frame, and possibly have a trade there depending on what the market does. The bias is to the downside, so if we get a break below that low, we could see it go lower. As far as our news announcements, as I said earlier, the durable goods orders for July were up at 1.3%, and the previous was revised to the upside, which is why we saw the jump. Now we have the Eurozone news announcement for the German CPI for August. The consensus is that the CPI is down for the month and year to date, and that's being released earlier tomorrow morning. We have the USD releasing their gross domestic product for the second quarter, the GDP. The consensus is that it's up from 1.9% to 2.8%, which would be good news for the dollar, and that's being released at 8:30. So until tomorrow, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.